Hello everyone. Welcome to our new series of videos designed to help you make the most out of your life experiences. CyberBrainer is an online training platform designed to help individuals and teams learn the latest technologies and become certified professionals, producing a comprehensive learning experience. In this tutorial video, we will discuss about Workday Recruiting. Workday Recruiting is a platform for recruitment that enables HR departments to manage their entire recruitment procedure. This platform includes job postings, applicant monitoring, interviewing, induction, and employee referral programs. In addition, it provides analytics capabilities to assist users in understanding hiring trends. Stay around and watch the whole video series if you want to find out more about Workday Recruiting. Here are the topics covered in this video series. Creating Job Requisition. Business Process. Creating External Career Site. Job Requisition. Maintain dashboards, edit dashboard. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel to know more about such interesting technologies and watch other videos in our CyberBrainer channel. For further details, contact us at sales@cyberbrainer.com. Now let us get into the video.
So today we are going to look into creation of job requisitions. So job requisition creation forms the basis for recruitment, and it is done initially. So we have sequence of configuration items, which we can find on community as well, or even your managers and higher level executive authority, they share it with the consultants. So they tell us what should be the sequence of configuration. So once you're working in an implementation project, it starts with the discovery sessions. So discovery sessions is like telling client how the system, how the basic structure of your module will look like. So you show them the dashboards, the job requisitions, the career sites, how they look, how the jobs are posted, how the candidate applies, candidate home account, all these things. Then after that, we have design sessions. So in design sessions, we go into the tenant and show them a little bit more in detail how these things are configured. Like we'll show them the task, create job rec, or create career site, or create job business processes. So after design sessions, we have a lot of weekly calls with the client, and we ask them for more and more information. We also have simultaneously group calls with data conversion team, client, integration team, and us sitting together and discussing the EIB templates, and we guide client how we want the data from their legacy system. We ask for legacy IDs and how the EIB is formed. We tell each and every column in detail, and we gather the information in workbooks. So after that, we do some initial setup, and the foundation tenant build occurs. So it occurs before the design session itself. And so integration team, they migrate certain packages or recipes, which includes the factory default data, means the basic default definitions, the basic items which should be there, the reports, task, and Workday delivered fields, all these things. And after design sessions, we have these sessions with reporting, data conversion team, and integration team. After that, we start with customer confirmation sessions. So in customer confirmation sessions, we sit with the client and discuss about the BPs in detail. What would be the BP policy, and what would be the step, conditions, validations, everything. We also discuss about the security. So we go and look into the domains properly. Okay. Then after going through these domain securities, everything, we start with the unit testing. So unit testing, for that, the test scenarios are shared by consultants only. And on community, you can find the test scenarios. We give it to the leads of the client, and they do certain refinements, and they put it on their ServiceNow or Jira tickets, and then the unit testing begins. So we kind of do hand holding over there and tell them how it should be executed. So by till now, we have shown multiple times how the steps are, how the configuration is done, how the tasks are prepared. Okay, and we also try to show them during the smoke test. So before unit testing, we also do smoke testing. So smoke testing is done by us consultants, and we try to like show them how the processes would be triggered. So after unit testing, a lot of defects gets created, and we consultants look into the client. Sorry, we look into the into the tenants and see where all the gaps are there. We fix them. Then starts the migrations between various phases. So phases could be in some clients we have 4 phases. So simultaneously 4 tenants would be there. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, like this. So during each phase, migration occurs from the foundation tenant. Okay, and again testing occurs. So after each phase, we have testing done by clients. They come up with more issues, more requirements. They get clarity what they want, what they don't want. So we do the refinement. So this cycle keeps on going. For some 3 phases, for some 2 phases, for some 4 phases only. Then after that, we start with the knowledge transfer sessions as well. So in knowledge transfer, we consultants again give the transfer sessions and in detail tell them, discuss them, each and every detail again, so that they remember everything. And we prepare job aids as well. Sometimes client wants that everything should be documented. So we prepare that as well. And then begins the end-to-end testing, where starting from HCM, all the modules are tested all together. The comp, benefits, payroll, if it is there, learning, talent, recruitment, of course. Some of the test scenarios might be dependent, some of them might not be dependent. Okay, so like that. So for example, the correct compensation should reflect when we are doing the offer generation. So if it is not right, then the compensation team is responsible. So they have to look into it. So like this, the end-to-end testing occurs. Then we have the sandbox, then we have the gold build tenant, and eventually the production tenant. So this go live phase which occurs, it is very, very crucial, important, and we consultants have to give long hours during that. We have to work on weekends, of course, and we do the final configuration. We load the actual data. So till now, you can say test data was included, but in the production tenant, actually the live configuration packages, the live employees, the live employee data, everything, live contractual workers, all of them are loaded. And after the production tenant go live phase, we consultant provide them the hypercare support kind of a thing. It is for 15 to 20 days, so that we make comfortable the clients that everything is okay, fine. If they come up with any issue, they can reach out to us. And finally, the project is handed over. So the people who are working now on client side support team, they are now responsible for looking into the gaps. Like I think you would be working. So that is what is the phase for your project. So everything is implemented, but you are from client side, so you are required to know about the Workday configuration. So you should have the workbooks, job aids, recordings for knowledge transfer sessions, and recordings for end-to-end testings as well. So everything should be there with you in order to see the gaps. Job aids are simply the documents. They are the guiding documents. For example, for a particular test scenario, these are the steps which should be executed in sequence in order to test it. In order to create a job rec, we have to search for create job rec task. Then these are the fields. We have to fill these details. So everything in detail. You can find it on community, I feel. Workbooks are like the templates which has the actual requirement from client. We have BP workbooks also, where the BPs are written, each and every step is written over there. And we have domain security related data also included in those workbook, which tells us that, okay, for this domain over here, we have to include this security group. So everything is there in detail. The data which should be loaded, that is also given to us by client. So if there's any issue, we have to go back to it as well and see if there was something missed from our side or not. If it is there, then we have to create it. I think you guys have to create it. Then job aid is for, it's just like we have ebooks, right? So it's like just helping the client side to be aware, to have a recorded thing like, okay, these are the possible steps how everything would be executed. It could be a PPT also, it could be a Word doc also, it could be an Excel also. And the third one was job aid. Okay, so let's look into creating the job rec. So in real time, we don't go by task, we go by EIBs, and but we should be aware about the fields over here so that we are able to relate it in our EIB template. So for job requisition creation, supervisory org is a must. And what is the requirement? That if it is a job management support, it should have hiring restrictions set. And if it is position management, then it should have either existing positions or Workday will ask us that do you want to create a position or not. So let me just click on it and see what happens. Okay, it didn't ask me anything. Maybe because it's a job management and the hiring restrictions were set. That's why it didn't ask me for anything related to positions. So this is the first section. So we have number of openings. So let's suppose there's 10 openings for analyst. So we can define here the number of openings we want. So let's suppose if it was position management, okay, and no existing positions were available. So it will lead to creation of 9 positions in this case. Okay. Then what is the reason? So in case for replacement, let's suppose a person is leaving the company. So in that case, we would be selecting here replacement related reasons. And in the termination BP, we would include a step of edit the job requisition. Means we are again going to make this job requisition available for hiring. So we have to make sure that the reasons we are selecting, they are appropriate, because these reasons would then be used in BP condition rules or validation rules. So we cannot just put anything. Then we can make a job rec spotlight job. Spotlight job is like we are highlighting this job rec, and when a person looks into the find job report over there, we have a facet with spotlight job. So it gives a kind of highlight that, okay, these are hard to fill and critical jobs. So yeah. And if we are doing replacement for any existing position or person, then we have to select that. We have the categories terminated in past 30 days, 60, 90 days. Or if let's suppose a person is scheduled to get terminated within 1 month. Okay, so we have to start finding the replacement from 1 month before itself. So in that case, have you heard about job overlap concept? So job overlap means 2 people will be tagged to the single position. So the scenarios are like, maybe a person has to leave, so a training has to be given to the new person. So that is job overlap. Or let's suppose there's one person who has gone for international assignment to some country. So on his absence, somebody else has to take over that position. So we have to enable the job overlap as well. So it's an HCM concept, and it could be asked during interviews. And if you're not able to find a particular solution related to positions or job opening, we have to look into this setup as well. So it is present in edit and setup HCM, I think. Then recruiting instruction, if we want to give like to the recruiter where we want posting to occur, so we can mention. Then what is the recruiting start date? Means by when this job rec would be available to start the hiring. And it doesn't mean the job posting date. It simply means that this job rec is now available either through internally or through invite to apply, or externally, you can now start the recruiting process. Then we have target hire date, like by when we have to start the hiring. Definitely. And what would be the target end date? By when we have to fill in all the open positions. Then if somebody is referring for this job rec, what would be the referral payment plan? So it has to come from the comm team. We can always edit the job rec, but it will lead to triggering of job requisition change business process. So we have to make sure that is configured. And we also need to unpost the job and then again post it, because our changes doesn't reflect at runtime immediately on those sites. Once it's closed, we cannot work on it, but we can freeze it. Okay, and even if it is filled, then also we can make the edits, but not when it is closed. So recruiting today by 31, let's see. Then we have the job section, wherein we define the job posting title. Any justification. Then job profile, it's a mandatory field. It brings in a lot of information. So see, job profile needs to be created before creation of job recs. And we can also include additional job profiles. Okay, so we can include more than one job profile in job recs. And can you think of any example where we are adding additional job profiles to the same opening? Take an example of Workday only. We are hiring for Workday. And we have the main profile for implementation, but we can also include support profile as well in case there's some issue with the implementation, like it is on hold or something. So we are also including the support profile here. Then job description summary. Should come. So for this job profile, it was not mentioned. That's why it's not coming. Also, maybe we have a manager job profile for different locations, and they might have different job descriptions based on the locations. So in that case, also we can include multiple job profiles. So forget about the BP because it is not even submitting your edits. So whenever we are making any changes, okay, so let's suppose we have created this job rec today. So definitely we cannot keep any of these dates of back, right? So there should be some logic also attached to what we are doing. We cannot simply add any date. Okay, and we cannot keep target hire date less than recruiting start date. So recruiting start date should be the earliest, followed by this and followed by this. Past dates we can select, but the effective date of the overall job rec, it should also be like taken care of. And we cannot put job posting date before the recruiting start date as well. Job rec is not available, how we can post it? So we have job detail section. Job profile, description, additional jobs. So these job families are coming from the job profile itself. Then worker, subtype, time type, primary location, primary posting location. So these all drop down values are taken care by HCM team. And what is the difference between primary location and job posting location? There's any chance of that person being located somewhere else, that also we should mention. That we have projects for these locations also, we should mention it. It's a good practice. Then contract details, if you want to do hiring for contractual workers, then you have to mention the contract. So these are the employee types. So they are again configured by HCM team. We can mention. Then link to evergreen requisition. So we have in total 3 types of requisition. The normal one, which we are creating, the evergreen requisitions, through which we can make candidate move till offer only. So hiring doesn't occur through evergreen requisitions. And third one is the confidential job rec. So it is for hiring the higher level people like CEO, directors, and all these. So evergreen requisition doesn't allow, Workday doesn't support hiring. So definitely evergreen requisition must be linked to a normal job rec in that case. Okay, so this is one platform where linking could be possible. We will see where else we can link. Okay, and the criteria for linking normal job rec and evergreen job rec is that they should have at least one common job profile. Very important. And it is highly asked in the interview also. So this is the requirement. And we can always come back and see and link it again. Then compensation details. So currently this security group by which I'm logged in doesn't give me the access to make changes here. So these are defaulting from the job profile only. Then we have questionnaires detail. So for internal and external career side, we can define the primary, secondary questionnaires. So these, for example, external career side primary questionnaire would be visible when a person sees a job and clicks on apply button. So job application template would be triggered where his details like preferred name, first name, work ex, voluntary disclosures, veteran status, whatever. Along with that, these primary questionnaires would also be asked. So it is a very important section and we should thoroughly discuss with client if they want to ask specific questions for their organization during the job application process itself. Then we have assessment sections also. So some companies want to do a pre-screening kind of a thing. So in questionnaires also we can attach scores, and assessment definitely includes scores. So we can do a pre-screening and we can involve inline assessment test. So for this integration, most of the companies are a third party to take such kind of screening. They are responsible for creation of curriculum, for conducting the exam, and for giving the score and the final result. So I don't think so in this tenant we can create assessment test. So these assessments would be attached here. So during the job application process itself, these assessments will reflect. Okay, so inline, or when we are going through the assessment stage also for this job application, over there also, we will have the option of attaching assessments. So job application template is different. It is like when a person is going on career site and clicking on apply, and whatever questions are asked or whatever, that is all job application template. Once that person clicks on submit and he enters the job application processes, over there we also have assessment stage. We can include assessment test during the like job application template detail during that stage, or we can also include it when they are in the job application process, like they are active candidates. Before that, they were prospects only, they were just applying to the job, they were in the process of completing their application. So yeah, we can include default assessment test. Okay, like basic reading, speaking skills, something like this. So if I see it, so this is the assessment category, and see over here, it is not properly created. So we have integration system, vendor comments. Okay, so most of the time they are conducted by third-party people. Let me check for reading. Again, it is asking for the same. And if I check for if we want to check their competency, so competencies are like, do they have the required behavior, attitude, skills, such kind of test.
Okay.
So it's of the general category. So on job rec itself, we have the option of attaching questionnaire and assessments. Then what are the qualifications? The required skills definitely needed and optional. Then what is the education required? The language, definitely you should speak. Or what would the ability type as well we can define. And whether it's a required field, we can mention on the job application template that definitely we need this requirement. And in education also, we can make it this. So what happens? So after the financial year, budget comes into picture, and accordingly the projects are decided, and the position demands are accordingly created after analysis between the hiring managers and the higher level people like directors. Okay, and then most of the time recruiters create the job rec. We can define the language, certifications, work ex, competencies, responsibilities, and training details needed. Then to which company, cost center, and region or other custom objects, custom organization, the candidate who would be hired in this job rec would be aligned to. So if he is being hired for manager job rec, then the company which we are defining over here, automatically he would be a member of that as well.
Yes.
Okay, so it is a mandatory. All three of them are mandatory. And rest of them, we can make them mandatory as well by doing setup at backend. We have custom orgs like college, school, division, growth, share, custom security. These are just the examples. And then we have attachments. Any documents we would like the candidates to go through, we can define. Either it could be companies' policies or about the job, extra details, anything. So these are the custom organizations. So these are created on demand from client. So it's a custom org where people are grouped based on certain share market or whatever. I don't know. Let me see. I've seen this for the first time. So custom orgs are totally customized. So organization type name is this and used by organization subtypes. So what will happen? All the people from these organization subtypes would be part of this growth and share, something like that. It is basically a way of grouping people based on certain criteria for reporting purpose, for business analytics purpose. So division, for example, if we see, so they have subtypes as division or geographic divisions. So this is the criteria they have used. I cannot edit them, but we have this option. So we have maintain organization types. Okay. So we have a Workday delivered ones like company, cost center, location, region, okay, program, fund, gift, business unit, grant, projects, and all these. Okay. And then all these are used for costing purpose. Okay. So in order to see the profit of the company or whatever cost was incurred during the financial year. Then for hierarchy purpose, in order to see how everything is in sequence in the company, we have these many subtypes, organization types. Then for HR people, these are the organization types, like HR people would want to see data for these orgs. Then for pay, we have pay groups and payroll company. So pay groups groups the people on the basis of the pay group which they are tagged to. Then we also have custom tag, and we can edit it. I think it will get refreshed. Yeah. So currently 22 items are there, which we have seen also. Acquisitions, college, division, okay, and they have these organization subtypes. which we can maintain again. On the basis of training, like people who are part of a particular training, or certain people who are part of particular union. So this is highly used, union. So they will be grouped together. Okay. Yeah, we have plus sign, and we can definitely add it. And it would be reflected on our job rec task also. So we have the work tags, whether it would be used for financial, HR. Then reorg task, then change organization. So simply these org types could be included when we are creating the reports, and we can then analyze the data of the employees. That's it, what it is. Then next we have doc attachments and assign role. So this section, it was earlier not coming. So what I have done, you should be aware about this task also. Configure optional field. So we have certain Workday delivered fields which we see on the task, but there are certain fields which we can hide or make it visible or required as per the client's requirement. So if I see job rec, so once we are creating the job rec, we have all these fields. See, spotlight job, it was added deliberately. If we remove it, it won't be visible. So criteria, it would be visible for these security group. No, it would be hidden for these people, and it would be visible for security group, like people who are part of some security group. Then require for all, that we can mention. The time type, supplementary, remote type, spotlight, referral. So we have all these options which we can include. Supplementary, time type, everything. These fields are not of much importance according to Workday, but we can make it required or hidden or whatever.
Okay.
So assign roles. Then role, generally we assign primary recruiter over here. So we have to make sure primary recruiter is created. So it's a normal role-based security group. How we create role-based security group? We first create maintain assignable role. Okay, over there, we assign at job requisition level and not at SUPOG level. We make sure we are doing that. Otherwise, that primary recruiter won't be visible here in the drop down. Then we create the security group. That's it. And that is how it is visible here. And then we assign it to the person. So many a times question would be asked how we set up the primary recruiter. We do it by creating the assignable roles, role-based, and then we assign it in the assign role section of job rec.
Okay.
Then we have the summary, and it will just give us the review, overview of whatever details we have created. Then if I look into the task, create evergreen requisition. So this task creates evergreen requisition, which has its own business process. So the normal create job requisition task leads to triggering of job requisition BP, but evergreen requisition leads to triggering of evergreen requisition BP. So here you can see SUPOG is not mandatory, worker type is. So let me click on OK. It also has similar kind of UI, but very less ones. So it just asks for spotlight job, recruiting instruction, start date, target hire date, target date. So it doesn't have the option of number of openings because we are not going to hire using this evergreen requisition. It doesn't matter whatever would be the number of openings. We are just here to create candidate. When we are moving candidate across the job application process, stages, sorry. So we'll see how we can link. If we can move the candidate from evergreen to normal job rec as well. If we are not linking it, that is also possible. But just remember, for evergreen, there should be a link between normal. So we can define spotlight, recruiting instructions, start date, target hire date is not mandatory here because we don't hire it. So again, the job details. So these evergreen requisitions are also posted in similar manner how we post the normal job rec. So they are visible to the person. Then we have posting title, job profile, worker subtype, time type, contract, link to job rec. Okay. So in the normal job rec also we had this section. In evergreen requisition also we have this option. We have the questionnaires and we have the assessments. Then we can define the qualifications. Organizations. Then we have attachment. Then we have compensation detail as well. And we can just define here the base pay range and the package and the grade profile. Okay, we can define the salary, hourly, if the person is hourly period type, then period salary, unit salary, allowance, merit, stock. So we discussed with the compensation team highly for this. Then we have assigned role here and the summary. Okay. Then talking about create confidential job rec. I have, to be honest, not created this for any client till now, but we should be aware. We should tell them this feature of Workday. Maybe they want hiring to occur in the normal way, how we are doing it for normal management level. That's why. So it definitely asks for support and worker type. Then it has the reasons. So see, again, number of openings are not mentioned here because we don't do bulk hiring. We don't hire multiple CEOs. We don't hire multiple directors. So that's why we define the reason, recruiting start date, target hire date, referral payment plan. Then the job details, job profile, time, primary, posting, then compensation. So compensation is again not mentioned here because we do a lot of negotiation for this as well. So in the offer BP itself, everything would be discussed, but yes, a grade is to be tagged, definitely. Then we have questionnaire also, assessment also. Qualifications. Then again, organizations. Attachment. Who would be the confidential recruiter in this case, logically, not the primary recruiter. So confidential recruiter are also created similarly. How we create the other ones. So we have to maintain assignable role at job requisition level and assign it to somebody. And that confidential recruiter would be part of all the job application steps. Okay. So we have to configure accordingly. Like normal recruiter, primary recruiter shouldn't be able to see it. So you can search it in your tenant how it is configured. So again, this is how it looks like. So if I search for primary recruiter, okay, so all of them are enabled for job rec. Only then they will be visible in the drop down. Rest everything is same. We have 3 primary recruiters currently or as a role, but we can assign it to different people. And then we go for the task, create security code. We define the role based. So here you can see certain restrictions based on organizations, okay, and based on some role has access to positions. So it is based on positions. Whereas in unconstrained, it is independent of any organization or worker. So this would be restricted to organization and unassigned subordinates. So we have to select a particular criteria over here. So constrained ones are restricted to organizations or positions. Unconstrained are tenant-wide. And they're similar to, you can say, user-based security group who also have tenant-wide access. But user based is different, role based, of course, is different. So we here define the assignable role, which we have created, primary recruiter, and that's it. Click on OK and add them in the required BPs. So in order to set up job requisition, these are the domains. If there's any issue, like you're not able to see this task, anything, then you have to look into these domains. So no need of remembering domains. You have this PPT and you can also find easily the domain list on community. So we have create job requisition task. Then we can set up spotlight job. So we have to go into config optional field and we have to select this field. Then we also have this report find job. It is a Workday delivered report. So it has the search bar and different facets. Okay, these are the ones and these are the openings. And it has certain details like the job requisition code, the posting date, and the location and whether it's a spotlight or not. Okay, and we can do the save search as well. Like if let's suppose we are selecting full time. Okay, so we can save the search of only full-time workers with a particular name. Click on OK, and we can see over here full-time. And the same people will come. So we have saved searches where when we are creating campaigns or some other reports, where we can simply use the save search value. No need of like going into it in detail, but just see how it looks like, this UI. And we can copy this report to create our own customized report. So it's a standard copy. So it has this data source filter. These are the details which were visible just below the posting title, the position title. We can do sorting, filter, prompts, like the runtime values we can put, and advance. Over here, we can define the facets at the bottom. And we can also share it. Okay, authorized user, specific authorized user, like this. Okay, so do they have access to the domains which include these report fields? So you need to check the data source. And by clicking on data source, you have to check the domains and check if those security groups are part of those domains or not. Find job report, this is what it is. Then to set up the primary recruiter, we have to create the role first, and then we have to configure the security policy for this particular domain in order to like do the setup. Then we have to look into view business process type. So this is a way of including assigned role section on job requisition. So these are the steps. Like we need to go into job rec, and from the related action, we have to configure consolidated template, and over there we have to assign role. So you know what are consolidated business process types? Business process consolidated templates are like job rec, where we have seen various sections, right? They have different sections involved. So it gives us an idea that, okay, its BP is also going to be configure consolidated type only. It will also have sections. So when a recruiter will see the job requisition steps, he will be able to see various sections over there. This is what it means. Then we just have to add primary recruiter role to the security policies, like how we do it for other security groups. And we can add primary recruiter in all these sub-processes as well. So we'll see that. Then time to fill report is the one which I think we have discussed yesterday also. It is just to check the productivity of recruiters. And we discuss with the client what would be the calculation, like start date and end date. That's how. And this is how it looks like. Like these are the recruiters. Okay. And the green ones define less than 30, how many workers they have worked on. Then we have dark green over here. Like for less than 30 days, James Murray has worked on these many number of people, 150 plus. Then 90 plus days, he has worked on this. We also have this tabular form. See over here, less than 30 days, he has worked on 152 people. So from 30 to 59, this and this. So it is simply to check the performance of recruiters. So the job recs which you have created, they would ask for a SUPOG, right? So are those hiring manager and recruiters assigned for that SUPOG? You have to check. You have to check the SUPOG role assignment tab if they are part of the role assignment for that SUPOG or not. So I told you, the reason would be his maintain assignable role would be enabled for support and not job rec. So only if you're selecting job rec, then in the drop down, you'll be able to see your role. If that role is enabled for support, then you have to check your support role assignment. And if you can change the maintain assignable role to job rec, that is also great. You can directly assign at job rec level. So over here, currently, we don't have any facet available, but we can edit this report, create our own copy one, and create a facet for Spotlight so that it will help the external candidate to look for Spotlight, like hard to fill one, means immediately the hiring will start for it. The processes will occur quickly. And also we have included as a summary tab kind of a thing. It's just basically for highlighting purpose.
Okay.
Like we are waiting to complete the hiring for this job.